Questions 1 through 10 on the 2014 Grade 12 AMC 12B. Lee has 13 coins, all of which are pennies and nickels. If she had one more nickel than she has now, then she would have the same number of pennies and nickels. In cents, how much are Lee's coins worth? She has pennies and nickels. If she has 7 pennies and 6 nickels, that satisfies the conditions of the question. She has 13 right now, and then if she added one more nickel, she would have 7 nickels and 7 pennies. That would be equal. So they're basically asking you what is the value of those 13 coins. So it's 7 times 1 plus 6 times 5, 7 plus 30, and that is 37. So number 1, the answer is C. Orvin went to the store with just enough money to buy 30 balloons. When he arrived, he discovered that the store had a special sale on balloons. Buy one balloon at regular price and get a second at 1/3 off the regular price. What is the greatest number of balloons Orvin could buy? Let's say the price is P and he has M amount of money. How many he can buy is M over P, and that is 30, they told me. But then they tell us that there's a sale, so if you buy one at regular price P, you can get the second one at 1/3 off, which is 2 over 3P. So what I'm going to do is calculate the average of those two. So that's going to be 5P over 3 times a half, which is 5P over 6. So that means, on average, one balloon costs 5 over 6P. So now what I have to do is take my money and divide by not P, but 5 over 6P. And when I do that, I get M over 1 times 6 over 5P, like that. And that is M over P times 6 over 5. Well, M over P we know is 30, so substitute that in, and therefore this becomes 30 divided by 5 is 6. 6 times 6 is 36. So with this discount in place, you can buy 36 balloons with the same amount of money. So number 2, the answer is C. Randy drove the first 1/3 of his trip on a gravel road, the next 20 miles on the pavement, and the remaining 1/5 on a dirt road. In miles, how long is Randy's trip? Well, 1/3 is the initial, and then 20 miles, and then 1/5. So that 20 miles represents the total minus 1/3 minus 1/5. And that is 7 over 15. So 7 over 15 of the total distance is 20 miles. So 7 over 15 of the total distance is 20 miles. So D is going to be 20 times 15 over 7, and that is 300 over 7. So number 3, the answer is E. Susie pays for 4 muffins and 3 bananas. Calvin spends twice as much paying for 2 muffins and 16 bananas. A muffin is how many times as expensive as a banana? So we have 4M plus 3B. That's how much Susie spends. And then Calvin is 2M plus 16B. But 2M plus 16B is twice what Susie spends. So expand this and you get 8M plus 6B is equal to 2M plus 16B. And then get like terms, 6M is 10B, and then M is 10 over 6B, and that means M is 5 over 3B. So a muffin is 5 over 3 times the value of a banana. So at number 4, the answer is B. Doug constructs a square window using 8 equal size panes of glass as shown. The ratio of the height to width for each pane is 5:2, and the borders around and between the panes are 2 inches wide. In inches, what is the side length of the square? This is 2, and so on. And it's 5:2, so I'll call this 2x, and I'll call this 5x, the dimensions of that pane. So 2x, 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 and 2x. And this is 2, this is 5x, this is 2, and that's 2. So if you look at the horizontal distance, it's basically 5 times 2 plus 4 times 2x. And if you look at the vertical distance, it's 3 times 2 plus 2 times 5x. And they're equal because it's a square. So let's multiply this out. This becomes 10 plus 8x is equal to 6 plus 10x. Put like terms on either side. 2x is equal to 4, so x is equal to 2. So the side length is either this or this. You can calculate it in either one. If I do it with 5 times 2 plus 4 times 2x, it basically was 10 plus 8x, but x is 2. So that is 10 plus 16, which is 26. So 26 is the side length of that square. Therefore, the correct answer is A. Ed and Ann both have lemonade with their lunch. Ed orders the regular size, Ann gets the large lemonade, which is 50% more than the regular. After both consume 3/4 of their drinks, Ann gives Ed a third of what she has left and 2 additional ounces. When they finish their lemonades, they realize that they have both drank the same amount. How many ounces of lemonade did they drink together? So we have Ed and Ann. Initially, let's say it's x for Ed and 50% more, so 3 over 2. Now, when they consume 3/4 of their beverage, that means that Ed has consumed 3/4 of x, and Ann has consumed 3/4 times 3 over 2x, which is 9 over 8x. So what I'm going to do is circle those because that's what they've consumed so far. And now what happens is we have to look at what is remaining. Well, for Ed, 1/4 is remaining. And for Ann, this subtract this is what's remaining. So it's 3 over 2x minus 9 over 8x. And when you get a common denominator and subtract, you get 3 over 8x. So that's what's remaining. Now at this point is when the exchange happens. Ann gives Ed a third of what she has left. So a third of this is going to be 1 over 8. So she gives him 1 over 8x plus 2 additional. And then if she's given that, that means we have to subtract it from here, 1 over 8x minus 2. So again, this is now what they have, and they consume all of this. So this is going to be consumed, and this is going to be consumed. So basically what this question boils down to is now we have to equate these because they're saying that the amount consumed by both are equal. So what that means is that this 3 over 4x plus this 1/4 x plus 1 over 8x plus 2 is equal to that 9 over 8x plus 3 over 8x minus 1 over 8x minus 2. All right, so if we add all this up, we get, let's see, common denominator is going to be 6 plus 2 plus 1 over 8 x plus 2, and on the other side it'll be, well, we already have a common denominator, so it'll just be 11 over 8x minus 2. So bring the 2's over, and then that's going to be 11 minus 9, so 2x over 8. And therefore, that's going to be x is equal to 16. So now we have to figure out how much did they actually consume together. So Ed consumed that much and Ann consumed that much. So Ed would have consumed 9 over 8 times 16 plus 2. And then we have to add how much Ann consumed, which is 11 over 8 times 16 minus 2. So this becomes 9 times 2 plus 11 times 2, and that is 18 plus 22, so 40. So number 6, the answer is D. For how many positive integers n is n over 30 minus n also a positive integer? Well, we can make a table n and then n 30 minus n, and let's start putting in values. When n is 1, you get 1 over 29, and you'll see that instead of wasting time, you can jump right to 15 because all these will be fractions. They won't be integers. But when you get to 15, you get 15 over 15, and that's the first time you get an integer, a positive integer. And then similarly, when you start plugging in values for n, you get an integer when n is 20. It becomes 20 over 10, which is, of course, 2. When n is 24, you get 24 over 6, which is, of course, 4. When n is 25, you get 25 over 5, which is 5. When n is equal to, the next one will be 27. So you get 27 over 3, which is 9. And then 2 more, I believe, 28 gives 28 over 2, which is 14. And then 29 will give me 29 over 1, which is, of course, 29. The number of values of n that produce integer values for n over 30 minus n are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that means the answer is D for number 7. In the addition shown below, A, B, C, and D are distinct digits. How many different values of D are possible? Well, let's just look at this first column. B plus A is equal to D. And that means since they're distinct, we can have, say, 1 and 2 and 3. They can't all be the same. We can't have 1, 1 like that. So similarly, D can be any number probably until 9. Well, D is a digit, obviously. So it's going to be 3 to 9. And for each of these, you can get some sort of combination that would add up. So 3 to 9 is 7 values. So we have 7 for sure. But what about if B plus A has a carry? So instead of D, it's 10 plus D. Well, that means that it would be 1 like that. So now let's concentrate on that column and see what it behaves like. It would be 1 plus C plus D is D. So that means 1 plus C is 0. So that means C is negative 1. Well, you can't have negative 1. It's not a digit. You can't have negative 1 in a number, right? So these are the only possible choices. And there's 7 of them. So number 8, the answer is C. Convex quadrilateral ABCD has AB equal to 3, BC equal 4, CD is 13, and AD is 12. ABC is 90 degrees as shown. What is the area of quadrilateral? Well, make a line like that, and let's start labeling this. So AB is 3, BC is 4, AD is 12, and CD is 13. Well, if you're in grade 12, you probably know that's a 3, 4, 5 triangle. So you label that 5. And then this is a right angle since 5 squared plus 12 squared is equivalent to 13 squared. So that tells me that's a right angle. Now I can easily figure out the area of that quadrilateral using two triangles. ABC is 1/2 base times height, 3 times 4. And then the other triangle CAD, 1/2 base times height, 12 times 5. So that gives me 6 plus 30. And that is 36. So number 9, the answer is B. Danica drove her new car on a trip for a whole number of hours, averaging 55 miles per hour. At the beginning of the trip, ABC miles was displayed on the odometer, where ABC is a 3-digit number with A greater than 1, A plus B plus C less than or equal to 7. At the end of the trip, the odometer showed CBA. What is A squared plus B squared plus C squared? Initially, we have the odometer showing ABC. We're going to add some number, and when you do, the end result becomes CBA, like that. So obviously, C's got to be greater than A. And then we also know that a is greater than or equal to 1, and a plus b plus c is less than or equal to 7. Okay, so this number here has got to be some multiple of 55, because that is how many miles per hour she's driving. So 55 or 110 or 165 or 220, so on, right? We don't know. So, but just keep that in mind. Some multiple of 55 is what is XYZ. Okay, so let's work with this. If this is true, that means C plus Z is equal to A. But C is greater than A, so the only way that could be true is if there's a carry. So C plus Z is equal to 10 plus A. So there's a carry there. Now let's concentrate on that column. That means 1 plus B plus Y is equal to B. Well, the only way this would be true is if Y is negative 1, and that's not possible. So there's always a carry here also. So this is going to be a carry, meaning that will be a 1. And this actually tells me that Y is equal to 9. So instead of a Y, I can just put in a 9. So there you go. Now, I've got to go back to this list here and say, which value am I going to use to ensure that there's a 9 there? And one of the multiples of 55 is 495, and another one that contains a 9 is 990. So I'm either going to choose that one or that one. First, let's try that one. If it doesn't work, we'll try the other one. So far, this is what we have. And now you say, okay, where do I go from here? Well, if it is 495, then that means we have 495 that I'm going to place there. 495. Okay, so that means that C plus 5 is equal to 10 plus A. So that means C is equal to 5 plus A. Because remember, this is not possible. You had to have a carry. And now I go back and I look at that. A plus B plus C. So A plus B plus C has got to be less than or equal to 7. A plus B, C is 5 plus A. So this is 2A plus B is less than or equal to 2. The only way that's possible is if A is 1 and B is 0. You'll notice there's no other possible way of making that true, considering that A is greater than or equal to 1. All right, A is 1, B is 0, and then C is 5 plus A, so C will be 6. And therefore, this A squared plus B squared plus C squared is 1 squared plus 0 squared plus 6 squared, and that is 37. So number 10, the answer is D.